Should women be pastors? And if they are, is it scriptural? Let's take an unbiased view at what the scriptures actually say about women pastors in the church. Welcome back to the Down to Earth Christian. If you have questions or topics that you would like to see us address here on the channel, there is a link down in the description below, or you can scan the QR code that is here on the screen and submit them, because we would love to hear from you. Now, the role of women in the church is a hotly debated topic. I mean, women are smart, they're articulate, they're often more spiritually minded than men. So should women serve as pastors in a local congregation? Well, before we answer that question, there is some confusion around the word pastor that needs to be straightened out first. Did you know that the word pastor is only found in one verse in our English New Testaments? It's in Ephesians chapter 4, verse 11. And he himself gave some to be apostles, some prophets, some evangelists, and some pastors and teachers. The Greek word for pastor, poimen, is found 17 times in the New Testament. And every other time it's translated as shepherds, because that's what it actually means. I'm thankful that the ESV corrected this unfortunate translation of Ephesians chapter 4, verse 11, and they used the term shepherd, putting pastor actually in a footnote. Okay, so we can see that a pastor really is a shepherd, but did you know that there are actually 3 different words used interchangeably to refer to the same office? The first one is the term pastor or shepherd, depending on your translation. And then we have elder, and then we have overseer or bishop, depending on your translation. Once again, the American Standard Version, the King James, and the New King James all use the term bishop, but basically all of your other major translations use the term overseer. Now, I know some denominations actually separate these out into 3 different offices, and some even put a hierarchical structure to them where a bishop has more authority than an elder. But that is not what we see in Scripture. In Scripture, these titles or terms all refer to the same office. For example, let's look over at Titus chapter 1, verses 5 through 7. This is why I left you in Crete, so that you might put what remains in order and appoint elders in every town as I directed you. An overseer, as God's steward, must be above reproach. Clearly, elder and overseer are used interchangeably here. And in 1 Peter chapter 5, verses 1 and 2, the apostle exhorts the elders to shepherd the church by exercising oversight. And so in these 2 verses, Peter draws these 3 different word groups together, and he uses them all to refer to one leadership office in the church, that of the overseer, pastors, and elders. And then over in Acts chapter 20, verses 17 through 38, it also confirms the interchangeability of these terms. In Paul's final meeting with the Ephesian elders, Luke writes that Paul gathered together the elders, he calls them overseers, and exhorts them to care for, or to literally shepherd, the church of God. Scripturally speaking, there is only one office, the office of shepherd, elder, and overseer, or for my King James friends, the office of pastor, elder, and bishop. They're not 3 separate positions in the church. Each term refers to a different aspect of the office. Elder refers to an older person with experience. Overseer refers to the authority to make sure that things are done right. And a shepherd refers to the care given to the congregation in teaching and protecting them. Interestingly, though, this office is always referred to in the plural. There is never just one pastor leading a congregation in the Bible. Now, someone may say that Timothy was the pastor at the church in Ephesus, but there's really no indication in the Bible that he was a pastor. In fact, Paul says this about Timothy: "As for you, always be sober-minded, endure suffering, do the work of an evangelist, fulfill your ministry." Timothy seems to be an evangelist, not a pastor. And you might remember from over in Ephesians chapter 4, verse 11, that an evangelist was something that was given to the church. And he himself gave some to be apostles, some prophets, some evangelists, and some pastors and teachers. An evangelist and a pastor are not the same thing. So, just to be clear, according to the Bible, a congregation is to be led by a plurality of pastors or shepherds or elders or overseers or bishops or whatever term you want to use. It's all the same group of people that are to be leading the congregation. Now, if you're getting value from this video, would you mind giving it a thumbs up, like it, and share it with your friends on social media? It really helps us get the word out to a lot more people. Now, to the question at hand, female pastors, which also would apply to female elders and female bishops or female shepherds, or whichever word you want to use there, it's all the same group. In order to know if it's scriptural for a woman to be a pastor, an elder, or an overseer, or a bishop, we need to look at the qualifications for that position. Now they're found over in 1 Timothy chapter 3, verses 1 through 7, and Titus chapter 1, verses 5 through 9. Let's look at Titus first. This is why I left you in Crete, so that you might put what remains in order and appoint elders in every town as I directed you. If anyone is above reproach, the husband of one wife, and his children are believers and are not open to the charge of debauchery or insubordination, for an overseer, as God's steward, must be above reproach. He must not be arrogant or quick-tempered or a drunkard or violent or greedy for gain, but hospitable, a lover of good, self-controlled, upright, holy, disciplined. He must hold firm to the trustworthy word as taught, so that he may be able to give instruction in sound doctrine and also to rebuke those who contradict it. Did you see anything in there that might exclude a woman from serving as an elder or an overseer or a pastor? What about the husband of one wife? Listen to how 1 Timothy puts it. The saying is trustworthy. If anyone aspires to the office of overseer, he desires a noble task. Therefore, an overseer must be above reproach, the husband of one wife, sober-minded, self-controlled, respectable, hospitable, able to teach, and so on. A woman cannot be the husband of one wife and therefore may not be a pastor, an elder, or an overseer. If God wanted to open the eldership up to women, he could have said something like, they must be faithful to one spouse or something like that, but he didn't. He said literally, he must be a one-woman man. A woman cannot be a man, and therefore a woman may not be a pastor, elder, or overseer. On top of that, God says, let a woman learn quietly in all submissiveness. I do not permit a woman to teach or exercise authority over a man. Rather, she is to remain quiet. For Adam was formed first, and then Eve. And it was not Adam who was deceived, but the woman was deceived and became a transgressor. Teaching and exercising authority are both required activities for a pastor or an elder or a bishop. Therefore, a woman may not fill that position. Now, this has nothing to do with culture, education, or spiritualness. The reason why a woman may not fill the role of an elder, a pastor, or an overseer is because of the order of creation and the fall of mankind, as Paul explained in 1 Timothy chapter 2, verses 13 and 14. Now, if you're wondering what roles a woman can fulfill in the church, well, we have this video right over here for you to go ahead and watch next. I will see you over in that video in just a second.